Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Tyagarajan, the head of the Department of Sanskrit, Presidency College, Chennai. In the broad subject Indian culture, there is a paper Indian Aesthetics and Fine Arts in which you are going to have the module Nayakas and Nayikas in Kavyas. Kavya, as we have already dealt with, happen to be of two types. One is Drishya Kavya and Shravya Kavya. Shravya Kavya means the Kavya which is being read and learnt and enjoyed. Drishya Kavya means it's all dramas, all visualizing aspect. Whether it is a drama or poetry, the essential thing is that there should be a heroine. Without heroine, we cannot have any poem at all, or on the other hand, a drama at all. Therefore, the importance of a heroine is being dealt with by the poeticians, and they have classified different types of heroines. They are called as Nayikas. In the same way, the heroes are also important. They are called as Nayakas. So, Nayakas and Nayikas are the prime factors both in a drama and in poetry. Now, we will have the classification of the Nayakas and Nayikas as stated by the Alankarikas, and what are their qualifications and what are their characteristics, etc. The word Nayika in rhetorics, in Alankara Shastra, means the hero, as I told you earlier. Bharata has categorized male and female characters into three types on the basis of their nature, that is Prakriti. That is the exact term Bharata uses. The nature of a person could itself be divided into several categories. Bharata talks about the Nayaka based on Prakriti or the nature of human beings or characters, that is Patras. He begins by laying them into three main categories: Uttama, Madhyama and Adhama. Bharata mentions the four types of Nayaka. All the four Nayaka types have been identified amongst the Uttama and Madhyama variety. They have been divided into the following: Dhiroddhata, which means brave and haughty. He is a hero who is brave and haughty. Dhiralalita. This hero is brave and sportive. Dhiroddhata, Dhirudhata. This hero is brave and magnanimous. Dhirashanta. This hero is brave and calm. Neta, Vinito, Maduraha, Tyagi, Dakshaha, Priyamvadaha, Rakta, Lokaha, Suchihi, Vagmi, Rudavamshaha, Stiro Yuva. Buddhi, Utsaha, Smriti, Pragya, Kala, Mana, Samanvitaha. Shuro, Dridaha, Cha, Tejasvi, Shastra, Chachuhu, Cha, Darbikaha. The hero should be well-bred, charming, liberal, clever, affable, popular, upright, eloquent, of exalted lineage, belonging to a very good lion, resolute and young, endowed with intelligence, energy, memory, wisdom, and skill in the arts and pride. He is heroic, mighty, vigorous, familiar with the codes of dharma, and a just observer of laws. Heroes in the poems and the dramas in general are called Nayakas. They are of 4 types. Vedaihi Chaturdha Lalita Santa Uddataihi Ayam. He is of 4 kinds, being light-hearted. A Lalita hero, that is Dhiralalita, is light-hearted, and Dhirashanta is so calm, and Dhiroddhata is highly exalted. Dhiroddhata is highly vehement. So based on their qualities, Alankarikas have classified the heroes. In the definitions of these 4 kinds of hero, each of the terms Lalita, Shanta, etc. has a prefix to the word Dhira, self-controlled. So from this we should know that all the 4 Nayakas, heroes, are highly self-controlled. That's why they become the leaders. In order to indicate that the hero must always have himself under control, they are called, once again, Dhiroddhata, Dhiroddhata, Dhiralalita and Dhirashanta. Bharata lays down that the gods are Dhiroddhata, kings are Dhiralalita, ministers are Dhiroddhata, and learned men and men of the business class are Dhirashanta. Bharata and Abhinavagupta do not talk about the attributes of these Nayakas. They simply mention the names. Thus, there seems to be no detailed explanation about the 4 Nayaka types there. Then Mahasattvo, Atigabbiraha, Kshamavan, Avikattanaha, Sthiro, Niguda, Ahankaro, Dhirodhato, Dhridavrataha. This is the definition for Dhirodhata. The self-controlled and exalted hero, that is Dhirodhata, is of great excellence and exceedingly serious, forbearing, not boastful, resolute, with self-assertion suppressed and firm of purpose. He is really an exalted hero in spite of his great tranquility, profound sympathy and lack of passion, and his disregard for personal pleasure is due to a desire for achievement, such as has been seen also in Shakuntala, Abhigyana Shakuntala, where you find the hero like that. And the example Rama also. Rama, Yudhishthira and like are their characteristics. Then Dhiroddhata. Darpam Matsarya Bhuishto Maya Chadma Parayanaha Dhirodhattastu Ahankari Chalaha Chando Vikattanaha. The self-controlled and vehement hero, Dhiroddhata, is altogether dominated by pride and jealousy, wholly devoted to magic practices and deceit, self-assertive, fickle, and irascible and boastful. The principal hero must be of one of the 4 kinds just defined throughout the drama to ensure unity. A secondary hero may, however, evince varying characteristics under different circumstances, as in the case of Parashurama in the Mahavira Charita, who appears as exalted and vehement. So such examples are found. Parashurama, Bhimasena, Ravana and others are classified as Dhirodhata, Dhiralalita. Nischinto Dhiralalitaha, Kalasaktaha, Sukhi, Mrudu. The self-controlled and light-hearted hero, Dhiralalita, is free from anxiety. He is always happy, fond of the arts, song, dance, etc. and gentle. He is free from care, addicted to fine arts and love, and easygoing. You can have some examples in the literature. For example, we have Vatsaraja, who happens to be the hero of Ratnavali, who is also called as Udena. Then Dhirashanta. Samanya Gunayuktaha tu Dhirashanto Dvijadikaha. The self-controlled and calm hero, Dhirashanta, is a Brahmin or the like, possessed of the generic merits of a hero. An average hero possessed of humility, sweetness, liberality, and other good qualities. Some examples you can have. See, Madhava in Malati Madhava happens to be this type. Then Bhoja's attribution. Bhoja attributes Dharma Shringara, love of virtue, to Dhiroddhata. Love of worldly success, Artha Shringara, to Dhiroddhata. And then erotic love, Kama Shringara, to Dhiralalita. And love of spiritual salvation, Moksha Shringara, to Dhirashanta in his Shringara Prakasha. Then classification of Nayakas in relation to women. Pati. This hero is called as Pati, who is married and faithful to his wife. Example is Rama. Then Upapati. He is married and in love with another woman like Krishna. Therefore, this hero is called as Upapati. Then Vaishika. One who plays and enjoys women like Udena. Then classification of Nayakas by attitude. See, he is called as Anukula Nayaka, who is faithful to the woman. He is called as Dakshina. When rejected, he pleads to be accepted by the woman. Then Shata, who is deceitful by nature. By situation of love relationships, Proshita, he is the one who has gone on journey. He is called Proshita Nayika. Virahi, he is separated from his beloved, feels pangs of separation and loneliness. Like Yaksha in Megha. Then Vipralabdha, one who feels he is cheated by the one he loves, a disappointed man. A hero disappointed in love. Then Vaishika, who is seeking union with his beloved. Drishta, one who is unfaithful to his beloved. He feels guilty and pleads to forgive him later. In the dramas of Sanskrit, or even in poems also, there is no villain. On the other hand, we have a Pratinayaka. See, he is also a hero, but he is called as Pratinayaka because he does the opposite role of a hero. So, Rama, if you say Rama is a hero, then Ravana happens to be the Pratinayaka also. Like that we can classify. Then, Ashtanayika is a collective name. Now we are talking about Nayikas, heroines. The Ashtanayika is a collective name for 8 types of Nayikas or heroines as classified by Bharata in his treatise on Natya Shastra. The 8 Nayikas represent 8 different states, avastha, in relationship to her hero or Nayaka. By experience in love, a heroine is called Mugdha. She is inexperienced in love. And a Madhya heroine, Nayika, is partly experienced in the love affairs. Pragalbha, she is highly matured in the art of love. She knows how to tackle with the heroes so pleasantly and all, and she is called Pragalbha. In the same way, the heroines can be classified by their attitude towards men. Swiya, married and faithful to her husband. This is the woman who is married and stays loyal like Sita, and other Pativratas like Rukmini, Satyabhama, etc. Then another one is classified as Parakiya, married to one man but is in love with another man. See, in those days, the Alankarikas will introduce the heroines and heroes. They have studied the entire social aspect, social behavior of the human being, and based on that only they have classified the heroes and heroines in their either kavyas or dramas. And Parakiya, traditionally the gopis, girls from Vrindavan, are considered as Parakiyas. Meera, devotee of Krishna, is another example. From the point of Madhura Bhakti philosophy, all the souls are married to the world and hanker after God as Parakiyas. Samanya, free woman who truly belongs to any man for a price. She feels free to accept any man without restrictions. And then Jyeshta, the preferred one, and Kanishta, the other woman. As we had the classification of the heroes based on their character and temperament, now we will classify the heroines also as Uttama, Madhyama and Adhama. The Uttama heroine is self-controlled and tolerant, and literally the middle one who gives as she gets, that is Madhyama, and then Adhama is the low one who has no self-restraint. Then archetypal romance and 8 Nayikas. See previously how they evolved. That the 8 Nayikas were evolved by their characters, attitude, etc. And how initially they were classified. These things we will see now. The Ashtanayika is collective name for 8 types of Nayikas. Though there are Nayikas, we are restricting them to 8 types. That's why Ashtanayikas we say. Bharata in his treatise on Natya Shastra deals with this 8 Nayikas. The 8 Nayikas represent 8 different states in relation to her hero or Nayikas. Asam Ashtau Avastaha Syuhu Svadhina Padikadika. So there he is giving a list of the heroines. Of these types of heroines, there may be 8 varieties according to their condition in relation to the hero. One that has her husband in subjection and so on. Svadhina Padikadikaihi. Then Svadhinabhartruka is another, is a name given to a particular heroine. Hasanna Taramana Hrishta Svadhinabhartruka. One having her husband in subjection, always keeping her husband under control, is called Svadhinabhartruka. Sometimes she is also called as Svadhinapatika, who is loved by her husband and controls him. He sits by her side and is at her service and who takes pleasure in it. He is subjugated by her intense love and pleasing qualities. She is depicted with a Nayaka who applies on her feet a vermilion mark on her forehead. In Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, Radha is portrayed as Svadhinabhartruka. Regarding some these Svadhinabhartruka, you have got examples in Amarushataka, a poem. Then there is another Nayika called Vasaka Sajja. She is also called as Vasaka Sajjika in some other texts. Muda Vasaka Sajja Swam Mandayati Eshyati Priye. One dressed up for union. Vasaka Sajja or Vasaka Sajjika is waiting for her lover returning from a long journey. She is depicted in her bedchamber filled with lotus leaves and garlands. She is dressing herself for the union with her lover and eager with expectation of love's pleasure. You have got example in the Maga Shishupalabdha. Then another Nayika, Virahotkanthita Nayika. Chitrayati Abhyilike tu Virahotkanthito Nunmanaha. One distressed by separation from her lover is Virahotkanthita. She is the distressed heroine pining for her lover who, due to his preoccupation, fails to return home. She is depicted waiting for him, sitting or standing on a bed or out in the pavilion. Next, we have another Nayika called Kalahantarita Nayika. Kalahantarita Amarshad Vidute Anushayartiyuk. One separated by quarrel is called Kalahantarita. She is separated from her lover due to a quarrel or jealousy or her own arrogance. Her lover is usually depicted leaving her home disheartened, while she too becomes heartsick and repentant without him. In other portrayals, she is depicted refusing the advances of her lover or refusing a wine cup from him. In some texts, this type of heroine is called Abhisandita or Kupita, one who is having terrific anger towards her husband. In Gita Govinda, Radha is also portrayed as Kalahantarita in an instance. So, the example where she is depicted as Kalahantarita is seen in a verse in Amarushataka. Then Khandita Nayika. Jnate Anya Sangha Vikrite Khanditer Shaka Saita. One enraged with her lover, Khandita is an enraged heroine whose lover had promised her to spend the night with her, but instead comes to her house the next morning after spending the night with other woman. She is depicted offended, rebuking her lover for his infidelity. Then Vipralabdha Nayika. Vipralabdha Ukta Samanyam Aprapte Tivi Manito. One deceived by her lover, Vipralabdha is a deceived heroine who waited for her lover the whole night. She is one who is greatly offended that her lover has not come to the meeting agreed upon. She is depicted throwing away her jewels as her lover did not keep his promise. We have got examples with regard to this Nayika in Subhashitavali. There is another Nayika called Proshitabhartruka. The very name itself makes us understand that her husband is away. Dura Deshantara Ste tu Karyataha Proshita Priya. One whose beloved is away, that is Proshita Priya. She is one whose lover is in a distant land or business. In most treatises, this type is called Proshitabhartruka, but in other texts, she is also called as Proshita Preyasi or Proshita Natha or Proshyatpatika and Pravasyapatika, one whose husband is about to depart. These names are all synonymous and the variation has no significance. She is depicted seated mourning, surrounded by her maids, but refusing to be consoled. We have got an example in Amritsataka also. And Abhisarika Nayika. Kamartha Abhisaret Kantam Sarayedva Abhisarika. One voluntarily going to meet her lover is called Abhisarika, who sets aside her modesty and moves out of her home to secretly meet her lover. She is depicted at the door of the house and on the way to tryst, defying all kinds of difficulties like the storm, snakes and dangers of the forest. In art, Abhisarika is portrayed often in hurry towards her destination, for which also we have got examples in Amritsataka and Maga Shishupalabhada, and details of Nayikas. The classification of Nayika is detailed in later works like Dasharupaka, that is a work that belongs to 10th century AD, and in Sahitya Darpana also of Vishwanatha, belonging to 14th century AD, and various other treatises on poetics as well as erotic Kamashastra texts like Kuttani Mata, based on courtesans, Panchashayaka, Anangaragga and Smaradipika. And Rasikapriya also elaborates on the Ashtanayika. Thus, we have been studying about the nature of the Nayakas as well as the Nayikas, based on their attitude, based on their behavior, etc., in which we came across the classification Nayikas also, and the different types of Nayakas as well as Nayikas. We come across that some Nayakas are depicted as having attachment to the beloved, some go astray, just disappointing the wives. In the same way, the heroines also disappoint their lovers. So such characters are also depicted by the poets as well as dramatists in their works, and accordingly the role of poeticians is that by defining such characteristics, they are describing such Nayikas in such a way that will fit in according to the Lakshana definition given by them while writing a poetry as well as a drama. So this is very essential before composing either a poem or writing a drama. These are the basic needs for the writer to know how to depict a particular Nayika, and what are the requirements and how they should be described. Then only either the readers or the spectators will have the impact of the delivery of the poet and enjoy the rasa in it. Now we will go in for the characteristics of Nayikas. Heroines of the last 6 varieties, that is, we have already seen 8 varieties. Now, the heroines of the last 6 varieties are characterized by reflection, sighing, dejection, weeping, change of color, weakness, and the absence of ornaments. Those are the first 2 varieties by playfulness, radiance, and joy. The heroine connected with another, whether maiden or wife, cannot be of all these varieties. For example, you have got the Malavika in the Malavika Dhiroddhata written by Kalidasa. Then Uttama or Madhyama or Adhama. Each of the varieties thus for enumerated may be either Uttama, Madhyama or Adhama. We thus arrive by successive multiplication as the grand total of 384 varieties. See, that is a very important thing. They have narrated 8 varieties basically, and later on, based on different types, different qualifications, different mental attitude, etc., they have later on classified them into 384 varieties of Nayikas. See, such is the great observation of the poeticians in Sanskrit. The Dasharupaka does not mention this last differentiation except in general way and so admits of but 128 varieties. Rasamajari claims the existence of 1152 varieties of heroine. Nayikas in art and literature. The Nayika have been illustrated in Indian painting, literature, sculpture, as well as Indian classical dance. A famous example in Indian literature is Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, which belongs to 12th century AD. The Nayikas are further classified into two varieties of Shringara Rasa related to love. Sambhoga Shringara and Vipralabdha Nayika, that is love in union and love in separation. Vasaka Sajja, Svadhinabhartruka and Abhisarika are associated with Sambhoga Shringara, the others with Vipralabdha Nayika. Thus, in aesthetic literature, we find many kinds of heroes and heroines depicted according to the nature of their artistic creation, be it a play or dance or a readable literature. It is to be noted that the earlier writers were very exhaustive and innovative in dealing with this subject, Nayakas and Nayikas, which covered the entire gamut of human emotions and psychology. By knowing clearly about the heroines and the heroes, a writer will benefit himself with regard to the description of the Nayakas and Nayikas, and thereby he can present the best production of his either poetry or drama. Thank you.